Hey guys, I'm Commander today and Watcher of Realms. Today we're going to talk about lords, the best lords in the game. Who doesn't love a good lord? You know what? Early on, I just did not give enough respect to lords in this game and how powerful and how game-changing they can absolutely be. I think coming from Raid Shadow Legends, I treated them as kind of auras, like an aura champion.
You my aura.
And they're so much better than that. They have such a stronger impact on the battle, and they get exponentially better the more, faction allies that you can surround them with. So today I'm going to give you my top 10. Let me know, by the way, if I snub maybe your favorite lord. I'll start with who I think are the most wanted and sought after in the game. In no particular order, in this like SS tier category, Toror. So I mentioned before that I use Olog more than Toror, and that's not a shot at Toror. I think it's more of like Olog is the ultimate tank in my opinion, when I just really need a defender who can stay alive, because some people in the comments are like, Ash, you're sleeping on Toror. No. I use Toror a ton. Like, I love him. I'm just more like just obsessed with Olog as a sheer tank. Toror's really cool though. I'm not gonna talk about all their kits on all of these heroes. Of course, you guys can go ahead and check them out. But he has defense reduction on his attack, so he's a debuffer as well. He's got some control in his kit, and he has a revival ability, right? So he revives himself after his first death, and you can book him out to get, or skill him up, excuse me. Old habits die hard. Skill crystal him up to get more HP recovery, and he's just a monster, very, very good. Can deal a little bit of damage too. But his lord skill's insane, and Nightmare is one of the most accessible and powerful factions in the game. So, I mean, if you get this guy, congratulations, right? He's got a very similar to Wrath Lord skill, where he speeds up faction allies 5, 10, 20, and 35% attack speed, respectively, for every ally placed onto the battlefield. But then in addition to that, faction allies' basic attack has a 30% chance of landing an extra hit. And that's just ever present, like every hit has an extra 30% chance of landing another basic attack. No one should sleep on this ability. 30% might not sound like a lot, but when it's all allies all the time, it has a profound impact on the overall battle. He's a very, very good lord in Toror, a guy who I just keep using more and more and more. Honorable mention, by the way, to Wrath. He didn't really make the top 10 just because there's some insane legendary lords out there, but man, he's gotta be the most used lord in the game, because until you can get your hands on Toror, I mean, Wrath is gonna do you just fine. That's very powerful, the basic stats increase as well as the attack speed. All right, next up is going to be probably one of the most wanted in the game, again, Morrigan. So Morrigan's fantastic. She has cursed bombs. She's really, really good in Gear Raid 1 specifically, right? We have increase faction allies' basic attributes by 15%, increase faction allies' damage dealt to enemies under stun, freeze, immobilize, and other control effects by 30%. Fantastic stuff. And then check out the big one. Increase faction allies' AoE damage by 25%. And notably, she's here in the faction with some beasts like Vierna with the AoE damage just goddess in the game, as well as Iona. So Iona, Vierna, I mean, Zealous is a great nuker as well. Even Lasir can deal some damage as well. So even Greed is great too. So she has natural synergy with a lot of different of the best AoE mages in the game. And again, honorable mention to Aeon, right, who has kind of the weaker version, even though she's still a really nice control, debuffer, and lord to have in the epic rarity on your account. All right, next, guys, we got to go to the Infernals, right? Twin Fiend. I don't have this dude, but boy, do I wish I did, guys. He's a monster. Congratulations if you do have this dude. I mean, he's just a beast everywhere, Twin Fiend, which is nice. Like, outside of his lord skill, right? You can use this dude Arena, Gear Raid 1, Void Rift, Tide. I mean, you name it. He's got Burning. Increase faction allies' basic attributes by 15%. When Lord Twinfield casts the Meteoric Strike, all faction allies gain penetration increase, 30% ignore defense, magic resistance, crit rate increase by 20%, crit damage increase by 30%, and of course, he has focus focus fire. We're in a guild boss meta right now. Everybody's trying to optimize and improve their guild boss teams, and Twin Fiend is basically the key that unlocks insane damage in guild boss, notably and especially paired with beasts like Hex and Cetrum, and of course Zilla 2, the most powerful combination for guild boss in the game. Again, a third epic shout out, Pyros, the mini version of course of Twin Fiend. He has penetration increased by 30%, just doesn't have the increased crit damage. He also has in crit rate, he also has focus fire as well. So Pyros, I mean, you can make the argument he still belongs on the list. So Salkadin's is a little bit different, right? Focus fire for him, it only boosts him. Like his ultimate, unlike the other two that we just mentioned in Infernal, it really works for him, but he's still a great burst damage lord and just mage to have on your team in general. And then he has the Feast of Devastation 3 on his lord skill, basic attribute buff. When Lord Salkadin casts Hell's Break Loose, all faction allies gain penetration increase, again ignore 30%, and deal 30% extra damage to elites and bosses for 10 seconds. This dude is an elite and boss killer, right? Killer. He's got a pretty cool talent too when attacking the same target. Basic attack deals increasing damage. Each attack increases damage by 6% for 10 seconds, up to 10 times, and inflicts burning for 5 seconds. So man, he's all about the burn. He's all about the focus fire, improving his own damage, improving allies damage here with the Lord skill. He is a little costly at 20, but it's worth every one of that 20 cost in this hero. Does that make sense? You guys get the point. All right, next guys, we're gonna go over here to the Star Piercers in Aracha. Ooh, Aracha's very unique. She's a poison lord in the game. I don't have her either, but man, this piercing vision has obvious synergy with her faction. So piercers are very strong in this game. Increases faction allies attributes by 15%. They also have a range increase. Now this is very handy for probably the best faction in the game to have a range increase, right? For every 1 tile away from the target, increases their damage by 5% up to 50%. Now look at who is in the faction and you'll see how powerful this is. We have Nyx, who has great range generally speaking. We have Apsan, who can target. He's kind of an air targeting fighter specialist. Very good. I love that dude. Obviously we have Silas. Gosh, one of the most sought after and powerful heroes in the game. We have Allura, who is new and pretty good herself. We have Razak, who has incredible range. It gets better with Aracha. We have Hex, same thing with him. And of course we have Brienne and Idril with her ultimate, man. That's insane stuff in terms of all that extra damage because of the Lord skill of Aracha. So yeah, she definitely belongs there. She's incredible. Cyrus is kind of new to the game, but he makes the top 10, guys. This dude is cool. He's a magic defender. I don't have him, but from what I've seen, he costs a lot, 25. From what I've seen, he's the best DPS defender inside the entire game. Okay, that's what I hear. He's a summoner. He immediately summons 1 skeleton warrior within 2 tiles ahead when he's deployed. So his kit revolves around these skeleton warriors, these skeleton fighters that he's summoning. But look at his Lord skill, 15% basic attributes, reduces faction ally skill cost by 25%. When an ally is defeated or retreats, increase the damage of other faction allies by 25% for 8 seconds. This effect can be triggered 1 time every 12 seconds. So from what I hear, and it's pretty intuitive, you can pull off some nasty stuff every 12 seconds by getting these massive damage increases. So a really unique defender in the game. He's summoning, he's got range boost as well. He's probably Cyrus now. He's gotta be one of my most wanted heroes, guys. He's just so unique in this game. You know, he has Eloin on his squad. He has Comet. I mean, Comet's going to be the most natural synergy for all that damage increase, right? And you guys know how much I love Navris as well. So really good candidates here to get that DPS boost for sure. Also on the list from the same Esoteris faction is Venoma. Venoma, I really love, guys. First of all, she's really cool. She has Curse. She's a good control legendary hero in her own right? She can deal a little bit of of damage too, which is nice. And look at her Lord skill, man. It's very unique and very strong. 15% allies boost, reduces faction allies skill cost by 25%. A very powerful ability as well. And then increase allies rage by 30% upon their first deployment. Now, I've mentioned this before here on the channel, so sorry to be redundant, but this works obviously even if she's not deployed, right? Even if she's not built, you can put her on your squad naked, no gear, no upgrades. You don't even have to use her, and it doesn't apply to just faction allies. It just applies to everybody. 30% extra rage upon their first deployment. Really nice. You can basically pop, depending on how they're built, you can pop their ultimates of everybody, not just faction allies, almost as soon as they're placed when she's somewhere on your roster. So she's very powerful for that reason, but she's good in her own right even beyond that as well. Okay, let's talk about the hardest to get Lord in the game. It's Gon.
The magic man. Now you see me? Now you don't.
Gon, dude, guys, listen. He's a monster. He costs 19. He's a defender, okay? He's a defender whose damage scales off defense, kind of like Azor, but he's good, right? Like, really good. I don't have him. Again, he's probably the hardest to get because he's a chaotic Lord, right? He's probably the hardest to get Lord out there in the game. I mean, he can power up some of the most wanted and hard to get, like Cerberus, for example. If you get Cerberus and you get your hands on Gon, game over, dude. I don't have either of them, but game over. As I mentioned, his damage scales off of defense, which is nice. His Lord skill's unique, but it really fits chaotic perfectly, right? It's basically faction allies. Damage increases as their lost HP goes down, up to 60% extra damage at 30% HP. That's bonkers. Faction allies gain 20% attack and defense when HP goes below 30%. So you get 20% extra attack and defense and a 60% damage boost when you're below 30% HP. Wow, that's pretty crazy stuff there. If you have him, go ahead and let me know. Brag a little bit to us, maybe, because he's something. He's something. All right, let's keep it going. How much? We have like 2 left, I think. King Hars. I think we only have 2 left. What a bummer. I'm having so much fun this video. Who doesn't love talking about a good Lord? King Hars, I just pulled out. I'm so excited, guys. I mean, first of all, he's a Northerner, and Northerners are all about, you know, there's a lot of fighters, a lot of melee troops, right? We got Brok here. We have Valkyra, who I love. We have Ardia, who's probably my best fighter on my entire account. Falsi is very good as well. So it's actually starting to be a really formidable faction. The North Throne, for a while, I think that people were kind of like mixed on it. I like King Hars a lot better personally than Elder, but Elder's not too bad either. King Hars, though, I just pulled him. I haven't totally built him yet, so I'm not biased because I have him. He applies freeze all over the place. He's a really good shield synergy defender out there. But check out this Lord skill, right? 15% bonus. Periodically grants all faction allies a shield to 30% of their max HP. All other allies, I love it. Kind of like Venoma. I love Lords who just give everybody something, right? It's really nice. 15% of their max HP for 20 seconds. The more faction allies there are on the team, the more frequently he gives those shields out. He just pumps out those shields to everybody on the map, not just in range. That's so cool. And the defense of shielded faction allies is increased by 20%. And again, just look at his faction. I mean, these are some great fighters, especially to throw that in. And look at this. We got Maul, right? He can help out Maul. He can help out Vortex, another shield. Like, that's a great combo there. I mean, Olog, he's all about shields. So just pairing him with Olog alone, you're getting that 20% bonus of defense because he's always under shield anyway, right? The defense of shielded faction allies increased by 20%. Just there alone is pretty insane. All right, guys, one more. Who do you think it's gonna be? Of course, it's Leia. I don't have Leia, but Leia is a Watcher. She's a really, really competent healer. She's a solid healer. The Watcher faction consider a little bit weak, but she's got great buffs as well as great heals. You can see she has this range that goes, you know, around, extends, and then goes behind her as well. She has attack-based healing to 3 allies on the A1. I hate attack-based, but, you know, most healers are attack-based, right? That's why I love Vortex so much. She's restoring rage on her ultimate. She also has, as I said, a damage increasing buff that she brings to the table. She's doing a lot for your team. She has a 16 cost. Check out her Lord skill. Increase faction allies' basic attributes by 15%. Periodically increases damage and healing multipliers by 30% for 20 seconds. Nice. The more faction allies that are on the team, the more frequently it takes effect. When any faction ally is healed, their damage will be increased by 15% for 10 seconds. Not bad at all. She's just a really, really good hero. Constance was just released, and she's actually really good too. So already we're seeing that, you know, Iona is dual faction. Idril is used dual faction as well. So there's definitely, it's getting better, I want to say. Allura as well. So you're seeing some new recent additions to the game. And with every competent watchguard hero released, Leia just gets a little bit better. So there you guys have it. It's Sokoldens, Torador, Twin Fiend, Cyrus, Aracha, Morrigan, King Hars, Venoma, Leia, and Gon, with a shout out to Wrath and Pyros and Iona. Guys, thanks for watching till the end of the video, and as always, take care.